Wednesday morning then, here at RPI this week. Obviously you saw the video, well, I think this video will be put up online Friday, so you saw the video go up Tuesday evening, which was the beginning of our week. Today we've got the MG RV8 in. This is a Japanese import. Somebody's already been in here and moved the vacuum line for the distributor up to the throttle body, which is where they're meant to be, whereas all the Jap imports had them T-pieced off of this on the base of the plenum for a constant vacuum. The downside to that is people then don't retime the distributor to take out the, to put in the advance they then can, but obviously we will be retiming the engine completely anyway. It's having the full RPI ignition upgrade kit, so amp, leads, fresh coil, non-resisted spark plugs, and new cap and rotor. And then we've got to get in here behind the air conditioning unit and pull the ECU out. It's not an easy job, but thankfully we've done it that many times on RV8s. We know how to do it with our eyes closed, although we generally keep them open as it does save using swear words. So yeah, this is today's this morning's project. Should be about 4 hours in total, I think, and then we can get on with finding the misfire on this. I think we've actually got a bad connection to the resistor block that feeds power to the injectors. That seems to be why injector 2 isn't firing. Right, let's see where today goes. Well, it looks like Steve's been in here, passenger footwell of the RV8. The ECU's down here, ready for me to fit the chip to. The ECU lives up there in that black wilderness. It's actually not too bad to remove. You've got this little bracket here, which bolts up. You can see the bolt head on the base corner. You just undo that, the ECU drops down a little bit, and unplug the loom. So, right, let's fit an ECU chip. Okay, it's one ECU chip installed. Let's go see how Steve's getting on. Okay, so the RV8's coming on nicely. Steve's done the distributor checks. Looks like we've got the amplifier fitted, Steve. Yep. Yep. New coil down there. The intake plenum pipe is off for two reasons. One, for easier access for mounting the amplifier, and two, so we can check the butterfly. We find many of these aren't actually set correctly, so when they're closed they either go over centre, so when you actually put your foot on the throttle they actually close first and then open. So there should be a 1mm difference between top and bottom measurements. Obviously the throttle opens the top towards you as it opens, so you should have a lower measurement at the top and a greater measurement at the bottom. So Steve's just been setting that, or will be setting that, after he's finished fitting the plug leads that side of the engine. So yeah, almost there I reckon. Well, myself and Steve have just been up the road and set up the ignition timing and the base idle on the MG RV8. So that's all done now. The customer's just actually in Norwich enjoying Norwich Castle Museum. There's an exhibition on there he's taking a look at and having a spot of lunch, I believe. So this is all done though. And the Defender, we've taken the fuel pump out, and as you can see here, the customer said he'd had a new fuel pump fitted just recently, but they've kind of cable tied the two brackets together rather than bolting them together, and what had happened is the pump had slid off the bottom, so although the pump was spinning, the pipe had disconnected from the hard line and it was just pumping fuel around the tank. So that will now be bolted together properly, but we are going to just check the insertion depth, measure the tank depth, measure the overall length of the pump here to make sure it is reaching the bottom. So then that should be that one fixed. Okay, so here we are following the Rover SD1 down to the MOT station. Big day obviously for us and the SD1. We're in the Classic Range Rover. We're just going to go for a drive out in this while the MOT is being carried out on the SD1. We promised you a ride out in it when the brake pedal was fixed with its new clip, and it is now. But yeah, big day for the SD1. Obviously it's not finished yet. We've still got a headlining to recover and a few other tiny little pieces to sort out. But it's getting very, very close now, and it is time for the MOT. Okay, so as promised out in the Classic Range Rover, unfortunately couldn't do this video last week when I wanted to because of the pin that holds the, the clip that holds the pin in on the brake pedal had failed. thankfully noticed when we were stationary in the forecourt. But yeah, EFi flapper to Edelbrock 500 CFM carburetor conversion, and this little road test here and video is to just show you, although it's very difficult to show in a video, how well it drives. So the throttle response is there. It doesn't matter whether you just lightly press the throttle pedal, the engine picks up instantly, or whether you kick it down and the engine starts performing how a V8 does. This is a 3.5 engine we built 2 or 3 years ago. It's Piper TorqueMax camshaft, and it has our standard cylinder heads on. So it's already got 3-angle valve seats, bulleted valve guides, a little bit of work on them there. That for us is a standard cylinder head, and the TorqueMax cam is what we use as a standard camshaft. So it's lightly worked on for additional torque down the bottom end, which is where you need it on a 4-wheel drive. But yeah, the carburetor drives superbly. There's no hesitation, and obviously all of the issues that the earlier flapper injection system had and was probably going to always have in its life unless we were able to source brand new parts for it, with flaring idle, a raised idle in particular on this car. They've all now gone. The carburetor has kept it simple and just allowed it to do its thing. There's quite a few people have commented on our video we put up about this conversion in particular, saying flapper injection system runs great. Yep, flapper injection system, when it works, will run great. The issue a lot of our customers have is when it stops working great, it's difficult to diagnose, and obviously it's very difficult to get the parts for now. So a lot of our customers are actually converting to this 4-barrel carburetor to keep it simple. It's a known quantity in terms of price and results. And yeah, lots and lots of customers have now converted from flapper to carburetor, and they've never really looked back. Obviously there is still a place for flapper injection system on more classic vehicles that are going for the prestige look, much like the Rover SD1 that we've done all that work on. That definitely needs flapper injection system under the bonnet, because that's what it had from the factory. It's what belongs under there, and we can spend the time and money and effort in getting it running right. Whereas this customer in particular, and many of the ones I speak to on the phone, just like that known quantity in terms of price and result, and that's what the Weber carburetor gives us. Right, one MOT certificate. That's one huge section of this job passed. So we've obviously got a few more bits to finish off on this car, but we are incredibly close now. Obviously we can put some local miles on the vehicle as well, because that's the first time it's actually been on the road for a couple of years. So that concludes this week's video, I think. Obviously we've done 2 videos this week. It's been a busy week for us. There's been work going on in the background, getting it ready for the MOT. And yeah, job well done to the guys in the workshop here, I think, because it passed.